With the television landscape of the 1980s constantly churning out new shows in search of ratings gold, ABC decided to capitalize on the enormous success of Three's Company by launching a spin-off that would give John Ritter's character Jack Tripper a chance to start fresh. Three's a Crowd aired for just one season from September 1984 to April 1985, managing to produce only 22 episodes before cancellation. Of the 6 primary cast members who carried this short-lived comedy, 2 have since passed away. The mortality count stands at 3 from the extended cast and guest appearances we're documenting today. What began as a promising continuation of a cultural phenomenon ultimately became a cautionary tale about the difficulty of recapturing lightning in a bottle. This retrospective looks back at the actors who inhabited this forgotten corner of television history, exploring where they went after the show folded and how they're faring now, with one name withheld until later in our countdown. Number 1. We have John Ritter as Jack Tripper. Born September 17, 1948, Ritter was already a household name when Three's a Crowd premiered, having spent 8 seasons on Three's Company perfecting his physical comedy and timing. The son of singing cowboy Tex Ritter, John brought a natural charisma to his role as the resourceful chef and everyman protagonist. He studied at USC's School of Dramatic Arts and initially planned a career in politics before theater captured his imagination entirely. During his time on Three's Company and its spin-off, Ritter received a Primetime Emmy Award and Golden Globe Award in 1984 for his work, cementing his status as one of television's finest comedic actors. After Three's a Crowd ended, Ritter continued working consistently across film and television, with notable dramatic roles in Sling Blade and Problem Child, alongside his continued comedic work. His legacy as a performer rested on his ability to combine slapstick humor with genuine vulnerability and warmth. Sadly, John Ritter suffered an aortic dissection while rehearsing for 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. On September 11, 2003, at Providence St. Joseph Medical Center in Burbank. He was pronounced dead at 10:48 p.m. at just 54 years old, leaving behind an enormous body of work that continues to influence physical comedians today. His death represented a significant loss to the entertainment community. Number 2, we have Mary Cadorette as Vicky Bradford. Born March 31, 1957, Mary Cadorette came to Three's a Crowd after a rigorous theatrical background, having graduated with a BFA in Dramatic Arts and Theater from the University of Connecticut in 1979. Before landing her breakout television role, Cadorette competed in the Miss America pageant as Miss Connecticut in 1976, where she demonstrated both poise and talent to audiences across the nation. For her role as Jack's live-in girlfriend and flight attendant, Cadorette was selected after John Ritter felt an immediate connection with her during auditions, with over 500 women competing for the part. The series allowed her to display both comedic timing and the chemistry necessary to anchor a sitcom alongside one of television's most established stars. Following the cancellation of Three's a Crowd, Cadorette transitioned into guest appearances on various television shows and later secured a recurring role on Night Court in 1990, playing Margaret Turner. In 1999, she made a personal decision that would shape her life trajectory, choosing to leave California and return to Connecticut to provide care for her mother following a stroke. Her mother passed 8 years after their reunion, and on November 1, 2015, Cadorette married her childhood sweetheart Michael Daly. In recent years, she has channeled her theatrical expertise into teaching, serving in the musical theater department at the Greater Hartford Academy of the Arts in Hartford, Connecticut, where she continues to guide the next generation of performers. Number 3, we have Robert Mandan as James Bradford. Born March 13, 1932, Robert Mandan was a seasoned character actor with an impressive resume before stepping into the role of Vicky's wealthy, often obnoxious father on Three's a Crowd. Mandan's theatrical pedigree was evident in his performances, having worked extensively on stage and in television throughout his career. He became widely recognized by audiences for his role as Chester Tate on the satirical sitcom Soap, where he demonstrated his ability to handle both comedic and dramatic material with equal finesse. For Three's a Crowd, Mandan played James Bradford, Vicky's father, and also Jack's landlord, creating a dynamic that allowed the show to explore the class conflicts and generational gaps that drove much of its humor. His presence on the show provided gravitas and a foil to the younger characters' romantic entanglements. After Three's a Crowd ended, Mandan continued working in television, appearing in guest roles on numerous programs and maintaining steady employment as a character actor throughout the 1980s and 1990s. His ability to bring depth to supporting roles made him a valued presence on any set. Robert Mandan's life came to an end on April 29, 2018, following a long battle with cancer. He was 86 years old at the time of his passing and was survived by his wife Sherry Dixon, a licensed primal psychotherapist whom he had married in 1963. The couple shared over 5 decades together. Number 4. We have Alan Campbell as E.Z. Taylor. Born April 22, 1957 in Homestead, Florida, Alan Campbell became known to television audiences as the surfer dude assistant chef who worked alongside John Ritter's Jack Tripper at his bistro. The character of E.Z. Taylor served as comic relief and represented a different comedic sensibility from the more sophisticated humor that surrounded him. Campbell's portrayal of this laid-back, often confused kitchen worker provided a counterbalance to the romantic drama that dominated much of the show's storylines. Before Three's a Crowd, Campbell had worked steadily in television, building the kind of experience that allowed him to anchor his role with confidence and authenticity. The character required physical comedy and an ability to deliver punchlines with impeccable timing, skills that Campbell demonstrated throughout the series' brief run. Following the cancellation of Three's a Crowd, Campbell went on to a more substantial television career, landing a major role on the CBS crime drama Jake and the Fat Man, where he played Assistant District Attorney Derek Mitchell. This role lasted for 5 seasons from 1987 to 1992, providing Campbell with stable employment and wider recognition among television audiences. His work on that series allowed him to expand beyond the comedic roles that had defined his early career and show his range as an actor across different genres and character types. Number 5. We have Jessica Walter as Claudia Bradford. Born January 31, 1941, Jessica Walter brought maturity and sophistication to the role of Vicky's mother and James's ex-wife on Three's a Crowd. Walter was a highly accomplished actress by the time she took on this recurring role, with an extensive background in both theater and television. Her career had been defined by her ability to convey complex emotions and navigate dramatic situations with intelligence and nuance. On Three's a Crowd, Claudia Bradford appeared in 8 episodes throughout the series, serving as a disruptive force that created conflict and comedic situations through her interactions with James and her frequent appearances in Jack and Vicky's domestic life. Walter's presence on the show elevated the material, bringing a level of acting sophistication that underscored the comedy. Her most famous role came later in her career as Lucille Bluth on the critically acclaimed comedy drama Arrested Development, where her dry wit and commanding presence made her a fan favorite. She appeared in numerous other television shows and films throughout her long career, building a resume that spanned 6 decades. Jessica Walter passed away on March 24, 2021, at the age of 80, leaving behind a body of work that demonstrated her range and longevity in an industry that often discards older actors. Her contribution to television and film remains significant. Number 6. We have Richard Kline as Larry Dallas. Born April 29, 1944, in New York City, Richard Kline made a guest appearance on Three's a Crowd as Larry Dallas, the scheming used car salesman who was a recurring character on the original Three's Company. The character of Larry Dallas represented a different comedic register, based around manipulation, sexual innuendo, and the kind of crude humor that balanced the more sophisticated elements of the original series. Although Kline had been offered the opportunity to take on a recurring role in the spin-off, he chose instead to make a single guest appearance, visiting during the late episodes of the show's only season. In his appearance, which took place in early 1985, Larry Dallas came to visit Jack, having relocated to Bakersfield due to business downturns. During his visit, he brought along a character known as Greedy Gretchen, a woman who had been frequently mentioned on Three's Company. When Jack told him he was now living with a woman, Larry's response was characteristically crude and reminiscent of the original show's humor. After declining the opportunity to join Three's a Crowd as a regular cast member, Kline continued his career in television and theater. He served as a director on numerous television programs and pursued other acting roles. A classically trained singer, Kline made his Broadway debut in the 1989 musical City of Angels, demonstrating that his talents extended well beyond his famous role on Three's Company. He has continued working in the entertainment industry and maintains a presence in popular culture through convention appearances and fan interactions. Number 7, we have Don Knotts. Though never officially part of the cast, Don Knotts deserves mention for what might have been. The legendary character actor who joined Three's Company in Season 4 as the successor to Norman Fell's Mr. Roper was offered a recurring role on Three's A Crowd but declined the offer. Knotts had built his career on physical comedy and a distinctive persona that audiences adored, beginning with his work on The Andy Griffith Show as the anxious deputy Barney Fife. His willingness to say no to the Three's A Crowd opportunity reflected his judgment as a seasoned performer who understood when a project might not serve his interests or showcase his talents properly. Knotts' presence on Three's Company had been vital to the show's continued success during its final years, as audiences connected with his cantankerous but lovable portrayal of the landlord. His decision to sit out the spin-off meant the show would proceed without this valuable comedic presence. Don Knotts continued working steadily after Three's Company ended, appearing in guest roles and reprising his character on other projects. He lived until November 24, 2006, passing away at the age of 81 after a long career that defined American television comedy. Number 8, we have Suzanne Somers. The actress who originated the role of Chrissy Snow on Three's Company actually lobbied to reprise her character in Three's A Crowd, reportedly campaigning hard behind the scenes to be written back into the show. Somers had been a central part of Three's Company's early success and commanded significant audience affection for her portrayal of the bumbling but endearing Chrissy. Her request to return to the television universe she had helped create was ultimately unsuccessful, as the producers opted instead to develop new characters and move the show's focus toward Jack's romantic storyline with an original character. Somers' exclusion from the spin-off marked a significant change in her career trajectory, as she was in the midst of a contractual dispute with the producers of Three's Company that had already complicated her final season on the original show. Her attempts to join Three's A Crowd represented a final effort to remain part of the franchise, but it was not to be. Subsequently, Somers went on to achieve massive success through other ventures, most notably the infomercial industry, where she became a household name promoting the Thigh Master and other products. Her reinvention into a media personality and businesswoman demonstrated her ability to adapt and thrive in different entertainment landscapes, ultimately building a more substantial financial empire than many of her former co-stars. Number 9, we have Joyce DeWitt. Like Suzanne Somers, Joyce DeWitt was a core member of the original Three's Company cast, playing the sensible and grounded Janet Wood opposite Somers and Ritter. DeWitt found it difficult to tape the rest of the final season of Three's Company because her character concluded with the series finale, meaning there was no continuity that would allow her to transition into Three's A Crowd. Her character's exit from the show was definitive, and the spin-off was built entirely around Jack Tripper's new life without the roommate dynamic that had defined the original series. DeWitt continued her acting career after Three's Company ended, taking on various television and film roles, though she never achieved the level of public recognition that some of her former co-stars managed to secure. She appeared in guest roles on numerous programs and moved into other professional endeavors, maintaining a lower profile than either Ritter or Somers. Her work on Three's Company remained her most significant contribution to popular culture, and she maintained a respectful distance from the industry after leaving the show, choosing instead to focus on her personal life and selective acting work over the decades that followed. Three's A Crowd represented a critical misstep in the Three's Company franchise, failing to capture the magic that had made the original series such a cultural force. The show's abbreviated run and quick cancellation reflected changing viewing preferences and the difficulty inherent in lightning strikes of television success. Audiences had adored Three's Company in large part because of the specific chemistry between its three lead characters and the particular comedic timing that emerged from their interactions. Removing two of those three characters and replacing them with new romantic and familial complications simply did not resonate with viewers the way producers had hoped. The actors involved in Three's A Crowd were all capable and talented performers, yet the show itself never found its footing. In retrospect, Three's A Crowd stands as a footnote in the broader history of television spin-offs. A reminder that success cannot be manufactured simply by extending a franchise name onto new characters and situations. The performers who tried to make it work, from the reliable John Ritter to the engaging Mary Cadorette and the ensemble cast that surrounded them, deserved better material and circumstances. Their collective effort could not overcome the fundamental limitations of a concept that audiences simply did not embrace. The show has faded into obscurity, remembered primarily by devoted Three's Company enthusiasts and television historians. Yet for those who did watch it during its brief run, Three's a Crowd remains a curious artifact of early 1980s sitcom production, a window into both the height of Ritter's career and the risks inherent in attempting to replicate past glory.